Great day, everybody. Omar Muhammad here. This is the Breakthrough Podcast, discovering new pathways. This month's podcast went over just a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break it up into two halves. So enjoy part one and part two of the Breakthrough Podcast with John Woods. Until I see you again, continue to improve and progress. Peace. So John, let's talk about. I mean, I'm enjoying your story about entrepreneurship and just where you are. Continuing education. That's just really related to community colleges and some four-year colleges as well. So as an entrepreneur, how are you keeping up with entrepreneurship as well as your industry as it relates to catering or the food industry?
Well, I will say this: I am on EDAC and Ride and
There you
everything
go.
that y'all got. I'm taking advantage of it.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean?
We
Matter
get
of fact, I just signed up for the Thursday. What is the Thursday evening?
absolutely.
Every other Thursday, whatever that is. So
That's
I'm
right.
signed
The
up for
meetup.
that.
The meetup.
Yeah,
Come
I'm
on
the
through, man.
meetup. I'm signed up for that. I'm signed up for the real estate class that you're going to be doing every month.
Come
I'm
on
signed
through.
up for everything. So
Absolutely.
Ride is yeah. So I'm down with Ride. That's one thing.
Down with Rod.
The
I
other,
like that.
All
yeah,
right.
and um, well, I want to talk to you all a little bit later about how to host the entrepreneurship boot camp, right?
Absolutely.
Because I got a group of people. Because one of the things that I decided to do is when I was away was to really help folk when they come home, because there's a lot of stuff out here, but there's no direction, right?
Mm,
And so it's like, okay, how do we, instead of saying, go to social services and get some food stamps, how do we say, go see, Leon Robinson at this office and he's going to help you get it, right? As opposed to go sit in this lobby with 500 people, you know what I'm saying, and get it. So that's one of the things I want to look at. In terms of education, right? How do we educate people when they come home on where to go and who to talk to?
Yeah.
Not go to social services, not go to social security, not go to, how do they get the direct connection to the spaces that they need, right? So the education piece. The other thing is, I like to call them the internets. You know what I mean? These young folk out here, are learning and becoming billionaires off of the internet and how it works.
yeah.
So most of my education is most of my learning is coming from the internet. Use and Instagram, social media, all that stuff. There's a lot of good information there, right? And
Yeah.
so how do you get through the garbage and get to the information, right? And I don't want to call anybody's. I'm sorry. I don't want to call anybody's attempt to be successful on social media garbage. I apologize for that. But what I want to do is say, how do we get to the stuff that's going to help us do what we need to do better, right? Because I remember, when I first started doing the Instagram thing, one of my girls was like, Dad, that's garbage. I'm like, what are you talking about? I took a picture, I posted it. Right?
They will tell you that. They said that don't work.
We'll tell you.
Right.
Right.
That's garbage. You need video and this and that and the other thing. I said, well, okay, I'm gonna hire you.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right. So
You need that
and
feedback,
getting
though.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need that feedback. That's important.
Yeah. So a lot of it has been through the internet. A lot of it has been through getting back to reading, right? Because before I went away, I didn't read a lot because I was busy. When I went away, I had no choice but to read because that's all you could do.
Yeah.
And so now it's like finding good reading material. You know what I mean? Finding good stuff that is related to your industry, and that you can read. Because I know a lot of people are visual. Some people need that book in their hand, and to be able to read. So a lot of my education has been, not traditional, right? because now it doesn't need to be traditional anymore, right? Because the information is there.
Yeah.
Right?
YouTube,
YouTube
University.
YouTube University, my man.
So much information.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So and just about everything can be gotten off of the internet. And not to knock formal education, because I think that's important, but me personally, I don't have time for formal education, right? I don't have 4 years to put into educating myself, so yeah, so the education piece is really been the electronic piece that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That resonates with me, because it's like, as an entrepreneur, you don't need a 4-year degree to have success. You just need to have an idea, have a concept, have a strategy, have some resources. So that's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. So our viewers, whoever may be listening, who on the fringe of trying to figure out, hey, do I go and get a formal education, or do I utilize the tools that are accessible to me right here, right now, which is the internet, and learn what I need to learn, and really refine my craft.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say, and for those things that need to be, and I will say this because, this is one of the things that got me in trouble, is for the things that need to be licensed, and need to be, you need that 6 months, a year. If that's what you want to do, please go get it.
Get that credential.
Don't shortcut it, because it'll shortcut.
I'll catch up with you.
Absolutely. So
Yep. I was going to go there too. Being at a university, everybody's not going to get a degree, but there are certificate programs, maybe it's a month, maybe it's 3 months or 6 months. And as you indicated, man, YouTube University, people are learning how to do some good things and some bad things on YouTube University, but it is an opportunity. The information is out there. And John, I want you to be aware. So every month I meet with an organization called the Maryland Statewide Alliance for Returning Citizens. And it's part of the Department of Justice. And it's about 30 groups, 30 organizations that are getting together to really help out returning citizens. And one of the things that we're working on is just the point that you made, so when somebody comes out, instead of them looking this way, this could be a resource for them to really help them along the way. And we've had some of those organizations on the Breakthrough podcast as well. So, you may want to, if you have time, go back and look at some of those to really help out individuals. So, the RIDE program is here. Our interest and our lane, if you will, is entrepreneurship. How do we encourage people to be entrepreneurs and provide them with the information so that they can take that information and use it the way that they want to either start a business, or some people are not going to start a business, but they're thinking entrepreneurial and they're going to work for another organization. So, that's our focus as well. So we definitely appreciate you, coming on. Any final thoughts that you may have?
Yeah, 2 things. Number one is, how can I get in that room with that group of 30 people? 30 organizations. That's number one.
I'll shoot you an email. I'll make a connection. Yep.
And the other thing I want to really, how much time we got?
Well, we already passed our time, so we're gonna break this up into 2. We're gonna break this up into part 1 and part 2. So go for it, man. Take your time. You good, Leon?
Yeah, I'm good. I gotta be out and at 3. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So one of the things that I really that has helped me, right, is understanding the power of our choices, right?
Wow.
Okay. And it's something that we sort of take for granted, right? Is that we make however many decisions a day, but the power of our choices is incredible, right? And so what we need to look at, and what I began to look at, not what we need to look at, what I began to look at is, okay, something happens over here, right?
Mhm.
And then there's either a reaction or response on the other side,
Mhm.
right? So what do you do with that space in the middle, right?
Mhm.
Before you react or respond to whatever happened, right? How do you, what do you use? How do you navigate that space in between this person stepped on my shoe, right?
Mhm.
And what I'm going to do on the other side of that,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so I really want to get people to practice that thing in between the stimulus and the response, right? That thing in between the reaction and the response, right?
Mhm.
And it's really, I think, kind of been really valuable for me because, you know, I used to always use where I come from as the rationale for how I either react or respond to things,
Yeah, I think a
right?
lot of us have done that. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, but that history, right? Okay, so I know I'm a hothead, right? I know I'm a hothead, right? This happens historically. What am I going to do? I'm going to act like a hothead,
Mhm.
right? But there's a space in between there where you have the option not to act like the hothead. All
Right.
right. So if I know I'm a hothead and this happens over here, right, then I got to look at that. Okay, John, you're a hothead, right? Stop for a minute. Okay, what are you going to do, right? Or are you going to do anything,
Right.
right? And so, and then particularly in business, you know, it's like, okay, as an entrepreneur, this person doesn't like my product.
Mm.
Okay, all right, or I gave them a reason not to like my product. I was late with it. They did, you know what I'm saying? I didn't put the time I needed to put into preparing it properly, you know. And so they say that to me. So what do I do?
Mm.
Do I say, using my historical perspective and say, well, you know, I don't need you anyway? Or do I say, well, okay, well, hold on a second. You know, I understand that I did this. This is this because I did it, right? I understand it. So what do I do? What is that space in between? And how do we utilize that space? You know, you get what I'm saying? Does that make sense at all?
No, that
Oh,
makes
it's
100%
making sense, man. I mean, I like the title that you put to it, The Power of Our Choices.
Yeah, and that's
Self-control and emotional intelligence.
Mm.
absolutely, absolutely.
Period.
So, you know, and the first thing that you have to understand with that, and this is where I came to learn, the first thing that you have to understand with that is who you are,
Right.
where you come from,
Yeah.
what your history is. But on the other side of that is where do you want to be, right?
Right.
And who do you want to be with that, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so we look at that, and it's like that power in between, man. I
Mm.
tell you, I would have never went away if I knew what I know now, right?
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
I would have never went. Oh, you gonna do this to me? I'm gonna do this to you,
Yeah.
right?
Knowing yourself,
Right.
like you said, when you know yourself, you know what triggers you. So
Yeah.
when you know
Exactly.
what triggers you, you know how to get in front of that and not allow it to allow that trigger to impact your response that could be harmful for you, your business, and maybe that other person on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. You
that's a
know, and taking that space in between and saying, okay, you know, I don't have to automatically do this. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to automatically do that. You know, and it's with your business, it's with your lifestyle, it's with everything. And I'm learning it and I'm practicing it every day. So when I make something happen today, I don't do it all the time, but I'm learning it to do it more often. It's like, okay, that just happened to me, right? All
Mhm.
right. That guy just blew his horn at me. Right.
Yeah.
So am I gonna blow my horn back at him?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Or am I gonna be just like, you know, something, it's all good. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Go ahead, brother, jump. You can go right ahead in front of me.
Yeah.
You know, I'll see you at the red light and I'll wave to you.
Right.
You
I'll
know
be
what
the
I'm
same
saying?
way, brother. I just laugh. I pull up and I just be laughing, like, man.
Right.
I just
Right.
smile and laugh because it's like, it's not even that serious. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
not. It's not. It's not. But we got to make that choice for it not to be that serious.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You know, especially with our young brothers and sisters coming up. It's like oh man,
Man,
this
we got work
that's
to
a
do. That's
whole
all I gotta say. We got work to do.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And to those folk, it's like, okay, you know, you might not become a rapper, right? But there's so many things. Make the choice. If that's where you want to be in that industry, there's so many different things you can do. You don't have to be, you
Yeah.
know, Sitting on top. You can make $200,000 a year sitting down behind your computer just writing down words. You know what I'm saying? But it's the choice. Or making up beats, whatever it is. But making that choice, you know, in that power and understanding that those choices, you have the power to control all of that.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, and so that's the piece I wanted to get off on, especially in the entrepreneur piece. You know, take your decisions seriously, make your choices in a serious manner, and don't be reactionary. You know, respond appropriately to what's in front of you.
Absolutely. All right, sir. So I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
No, I said that was it.
All right. So how can people find you? How can they find?
People can find me. They can. I'm on the Instagram thing. JW.
Do you know that the handle?
Yeah, I do. See, I even know what a handle is now. I didn't know that before.
It's all good.
It's JW _
Hold it one more time.
Flavor. JW _ Flavor 1. FLAVOR and the number 1.
All right.
That's the quickest way to get to me.
All right. So JW _ Flavor 1.
Yeah, I just followed you, brother. I just followed you.
All right, my man. I appreciate you. All right. And again, I want to thank you guys for what you're doing. I'm fully going to take advantage of everything that you guys have to offer, and hopefully I can, you know, give you some input and be assistant to you as well.
All right. Good deal. So any final thoughts, Leon?
Hey man, everybody just keep grinding, you know. Hopefully our guest today has inspired you all to understand the importance of navigating different changes in the marketplace and just not allowing things that may seem like an obstacle to stop you from moving forward. So continue to, as my brother Omar say, improving progress. Right. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right. And before we leave out, don't forget, you can learn more about the RIDE program, the RIDE initiative rather, at edacmorgan.com. That's EDAC Morgan.com. We have some activities that are coming up. So please reach out to us there. And we're also on Instagram at RIDE Small Biz. That's RIDE Small Biz. And until we see each other again, continue to improve and progress. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
This is Mixla Production.